Doop, 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 doop. Oh, I came along and whoops! I fell into this toxic sludge. Ah! Help me! I'm melting, melting, melting. Help! 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 Ah!
Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. I had no friends, no girls that hugged me till I got radioactive ugly. Toxic Crusaders. I'm ready to pour it, and I'm warm and I'm hot. Good money, but we know when I get the back. I'm on the floor and I'm keeping it going, and frequently going. Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. I had no friends, no girls that hugged me till I got radioactive ugly. Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. I live in the darkness.
Today we're going to be taking a look at this Trick or Treat Studio Toxie from the old 90s cartoon Toxic Crusaders. Now, this is pretty much everything that he comes with except for his shield, which I have right here. He does come with this slime that's right here. And inside the slime you get his little glow-in-the-dark buddy, Blobby. So we've got Blobby, of course he comes with his mop. And all in all, this is just a really cool figure, giving me a lot of nostalgia. This is a figure that I wanted to pick up ever since I was a kid. Back when the original series came out, I never got my hands on Toxie. I did get my hands on a couple of other Crusader figures, and that would be these right here. One being Major Disaster, which is pretty much just a male version of Poison Ivy because he can grow plants. And then I also got Dr. Killamoff, or however you say his name. It's basically just an alien cockroach. Now, cool fact for you guys, in the old cartoon series that this was based on, the voice of Toxie was actually the same voice as Dr. Killamoff. So that's pretty cool. And honestly, I've always been fascinated by Toxie. Do not get me started on that rated R movie they made back in the day that just totally traumatized me. Pun intended. Completely traumatized me as a kid. Just watching him pretty much wipe somebody out with the mop. It was an intense movie. And I mean, I watched RoboCop when I was really little. Now, granted, I watched the TV version. I didn't see it in its full rated R glory. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. But I also saw Toxie on TV, and it traumatized me as a kid all the way up into adulthood. But anyway, these are actually two of the original figures that I've had since I was like knee-high to a rose bush, you know. Ever since I was a little kid, about 3 years old, I think. I can remember some of the first action figures I ever owned was Major Disaster here and Killamoff. And these were the only two Crusader figures I ever got a hold of. I always wanted Toxie. I remember growing up seeing Toxie. Always wanted to get my hands on him, and somehow it just always eluded me. So here it is, like 40 years later, and I finally got my hands on this amazing figure. And this isn't the original Toxie. He's a little bit bigger, not much. You can see the size is pretty close. Trick or Treat Studios did him a little differently, but I don't care. He's classic. He's cool to me. I like him a lot. Okay, so we're just kind of talking all things Toxic Crusaders. First of all, I want to include this. This is the glow-in-the-dark slime, and this stuff is super sticky and unfortunately really not convenient for reuse. I'm telling you guys, I know what the Ghostbusters must have felt like when they got slimed by Slimer, because I mess with this stuff just to cover the figure in and to get this little guy out of, and this stuff is pretty terrible. I don't prefer such a sticky slime. It would have been better if it wouldn't have been so sticky. Other than that, it's pretty cool. So this mop does have, or should I say this mop right here, this mop. does have a cool action feature that you're supposed to open it up, put slime in there. So I'm gonna use this other slime that I have on hand right here. This is just some dollar store silly sludge made by Blammo. So we put some of that in there and we squeeze on it and it pops out the top of the mop. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. I want to say that, you know, this was also based off a video game that was a cool Toxic Crusaders Sega Genesis video game that I had found out about recently that I never got to play as a kid, but looks really fun and I might want to try it in the future. So yeah, let's check out the features of this mop. Okay, so here is a look at the mop. I did try to put some of this, I don't know if you can call it slime. It's kind of globby and a little too thick for the mop. I do think that the slime he came with would have probably worked a lot better for this, but you kind of get the idea. You just kind of take this mop top off, put it in there and squeeze down and it oozes out the top of the mop. I definitely think the slime that he came with would have been much better for this. This stuff's kind of thick, but, and I do have it leaking out to the bottom here. Let's see if I can kind of squeeze on this a little bit. Get past it. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it kind of oozing out of the mop when I push on it. So it's just supposed to represent his mop and that he's gonna clean up toxic waste of the streets of Traumaville. Okay, so I had mentioned the Toxic Crusaders video game a little while ago in this video, and so I don't have the giant pollution monster known as Pluto, which is pretty much a Godzilla ripoff, and it's one of the bosses that you fight in the video game. But I do have this Spawn Heat figure, and it's kind of the same thing. Well, not really, because Pluto, well, looks like a giant lizard made of pollution, while this guy looks like a giant trash heap. But I still think it's a good villain to go up against Toxie, because it kind of gives that same kind of like trashy, toxic vibe. And it looks like Pluto would be cleaned up by Toxie's mop and superpowers. So that's really cool, if you ask me. I think these two do look good side by side with each other. And then, of course, we have, you know, like I said earlier in the video, we have the main villain, Dr. Killumoff. And then we have Toxie's garden homie over here, Major Disaster, if I can get him to stand with those pickle-looking feet. I mean, come on, look at that. It looks like he has pickles for feet. Now, I know it's supposed to be toxic sludge or whatever, but I've always called it pickle feet ever since I was a kid. Don't do that. Just stand up. Major Disaster, you're giving me... you're being a problem, Major. Maybe if I put your feet a little closer together. Okay. Alright. Anyway, Major Disaster does not want to stand up anymore. He's like, I'm out. He saw the giant heat monster and was like, I'm done. Anyway, so another cool fact is the people who worked on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1980s cartoon also worked on Toxic Crusaders, the cartoon. Therefore, these figures are very much like the TMNT Turtle figures, which I never knew that. I just recently found that out, and I thought that was really cool. Plus, I recently went back and watched the old cartoon, and they actually make a reference to that. They make some kind of reference along the lines of, don't even mention those Teenage Mutant, or they don't say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they say like 4 mutant brothers from another TV show, something like that. So we get the reference. But anyway, super cool. So now let's take a look at Toxie and all of his accessories. So here's a look at Toxie with all of his accessories. Those gas grenades are on his chest. He's holding his Toxic Crusader shield. He's got Moppy. And on the peg on the shoulder is Blobby. So let's take a look at that shield real quick. We'll just see if we can turn his hand here. Boom, there it is. That looks really nice. So all in all, just a really nice figure from Trick or Treat Studios. I really like this figure a lot. Oh yeah, and then there's the glow-in-the-dark sticky slime that he came with as well. So anyway, as always, Toxic Crusaders, keep the streets clean, keep YouTube clean, and we'll see you guys back here on this channel next time with the next toy review video. See you guys.